G'day. I'm going to read to you today. It's Eileen Mueller here from my sunny little office in New Zealand, and the book I've chosen to read from is Ezaara, Riders of Fire, Book 1. And the part I'm going to read you is in Chapter 1, but it's not at the beginning of the chapter, it's the end. I've done a few readings in the past and never quite gotten to the end of the chapter, so I've decided that we're going to start at the end where she meets a dragon for the first time in her life after not even knowing if dragons exist. So, our story starts with Ezaara in the marketplace. She has a sword fight. She gets kissed by some guy she doesn't even like. Her first kiss, by the way. And then has an older guy show her something a little bit creepy. And it looks like a dragon, which is outlawed. It's a crime to even speak of dragons in Lush Valley. And he's showing her some fabric speckled with dragons. So she manages to extricate herself from that situation before she gets in trouble. And then she sees her brother. And at the point of the story, which we're going to go to, I'm just going to read here from my screen, is just when all of that's finished. And she's about to go off and do more. Tamaz, that's her brother. Tamaz tugged Ezaara towards their parents' produce stall. Now, what was Bill showing you on the quiet? You looked fascinated. Cloth, speckled with dragons of gold and bronze, Ezaara whispered. Her heart started thumping all over again. Contraband cloth? Tamaz's eyes flitted nervously. Old Bill's bad news and his daughter's strange too. You'd be strange if old Bill was your pa, Ezaara nodded at her mother, with littlings clutching at her skirts, waiting until they'd passed before replying. Even if dragons are evil, the fabric was beautiful. Ezaara and Tamaz skirted a pen of piglets. Lofty says dragons are honoured beyond the Grand Alps, said Tamaz. One day I'm going to look for myself. She elbowed Tamaz. Shh! Someone will hear you. So what? I'm not going to live here forever, you know. Turning to face him, Ezaara stopped. You'd leave us? Although they sometimes bickered, life without her twin would be like losing a part of herself. His eyes slid away. Don't know. Maybe. Ezaara frowned. That's why Lofty's ma wanted Owlwort. You and Lofty are planning to go tonight, aren't you? Tamaz burst out laughing. If only! So he wasn't planning anything. If you ever leave, take me with you, she insisted. There had to be more to life than Lush Valley. All right, Tamaz said, but no running off without me either. Course not, they bumped knuckles. At their family stall, Pa passed a sack of beets to a customer and pocketed the man's money. He faced Ezaara and Tamaz, hands on hips. We didn't teach you fighting skills so you could create a ruckus on market days. What have I told you before? Tamaz sighed. To save our skills for battle. To practice in the meadows, not the market, Ezaara added. Pa nodded. Tamaz, could you take the sack of carrots to the smithy? Sure, Pa. Tamaz shouldered the sack and left. Ma glanced at Ezaara's basket. So, you sold everything. I heard you beat Tamaz. Only just, and through strategy, not skill. Strategy is also a skill. Ma put an arm around her shoulder. Everyone's good at different things. Remember, you were climbing trees way before Tamaz because you weren't afraid of heights. I guess so. Tamaz still couldn't climb a ladder without turning green. Who was ever going to be impressed by head for heights? No one she knew. Ezaara handed Ma the money and basket. Anna wants Owlwort today. Owlwort? Her mother's eyes widened. Collect some supplies for healing salve while you're at it. She gave Ezaara back a copper. Get something to eat before you head back into the forest. Pa winked. Watch out for Lofty! Just an aside there, that's the guy who kissed her. I don't know what you're talking about. Heat rose in Ezaara's cheeks. Had Pa heard already? Worse, had he seen Lofty mashing his lips on hers? Soon everyone will be gossiping about something else. Ma patted her arm. Ezaara groaned. This was worse than she'd thought. If only her first kiss had been private. Special. Not from her brother's best friend. from someone who meant more. She hurried through the stalls, buying melted cheese on flatbread, then headed down the road to the riverbank, eating it. Water surged around stepping stones as she crossed the river. Following familiar trails, she tucked peppermint and sage into the leather healer's pouch at her waist. She goes. Lifting fern fronds, Ezaara picked some feverweed. The gurgling of the river gradually faded. Now she needed arnica and owlwort. Ezaara strolled deeper into the forest and came to the sacred clearing. Stepping into the sunlight, Ezaara stooped to pick arnica flowers. The ancient piawa, half as thick as a cottage, rose before her at the edge of the clearing. Its bark pitted and gnarly. One moment. Blue berries peeked from its dark foliage. As a tree speaker, her mother often talked to the piawa whenever she collected its sacred healing juice. Placing her palm against the bark, Ezaara strained to feel a whisper. Nothing. Again, she sighed. Not a tree speaker then. What would her vocation be? Ma was happy as a healer and herbalist, and Ezaara didn't mind helping her, but she wanted something more. Excitement, adventure, maybe love. The owlwort vines grew among the knobby piawa roots. She parted the undergrowth and plucked a handful of leaves. Rising from a crouch, she opened her pouch. A strange tingle ran through Ezaara. Then a shadow fell over her. Something swished. Sudden breeze stirring her hair. She jerked her head up. A dragon was circling the tree tops. Ezaara recoiled in fear. With a snap of fangs or a swipe of its talons, it could kill her. The owlwort fell from her shaking hands. She tensed to flee, but hesitated. Sunlight played across the dragon's iridescent scales, making them shimmer. Its graceful wings swished ever closer, rippling with colour. This beast was beautiful. Beautiful but deadly. She had to escape, but the tingling grew stronger. The amazing creature circled down toward her. Foliage rustled in the downdraft from the dragon's wing beats. A voice hummed in her mind. Ezaara, it crooned. This creature could talk to her? We're mind melding, sensing each other's thoughts and emotions. She held her breath, drawn to the dragon. Rich colours cascaded through her mind. Sunshine poured into her soul. Ezaara wanted to soar. She glimpsed a vision, her riding the dragon, flying above the forest, over the Grand Alps and into the blue. This is your destiny, to ride with me. Warning cries reached her, villagers. If only they knew this dragon, they wouldn't be afraid. The dragon's hum built to a roar inside her. It dived. Familiar faces shot into her mind. Her family! She couldn't leave them. Ezaara's love for her family was swept aside as energy rushed through her. She was enveloped in a prism of rainbow-coloured light, like reflections in a dewdrop. Music from the purest flute filled her heart. For the first time in her life, she felt whole. The energy coiled inside her and she sprang, lifted by the wind, hair streaming out behind her. In a flash of colour, the dragon's scales were beneath her. Ezaara landed on a saddle in a hollow between its wings. She wrapped her arms around the dragon's spinal ridge, hugging it tight. It felt so right. The dragon regarded her with yellow eyes. Ezaara could have sworn it was smiling. I am Zaarusha. You were born to be my rider, it thrummed. The beast turned, its belly rumbled, and flames shot from its moor. They flew off, leaving her home and loved ones behind. So, that was Ezaara, Chapter 1. That's how she meets Zaarusha, the Queen of the Dragons, and is plunged into a world of danger, deception, intrigue, and traitors. We'll find out what happens to her in the rest of the book, and also there's Dragon Hero, Book 2, which also won a Storylines Notable Book Award, like Ezaara did. Dragon Rift is Book 3. Dragon Strike is Book 4. A little bit of some battling dragons there. Things not going so well in Dragon's Realm. And I have Book 5 as an ebook image on my phone because due to the quarantine at the moment and isolation, Book 5 has not been printed in New Zealand yet. It is available on Amazon, luckily. Anyway, that is the reading of Ezaara today. I'd like to thank everybody who came to hang out at the Riders of Fire party and celebrate with us. I am going to be back very soon to answer all the questions you've given me in the Ask an Author post or Ask Eileen Anything post. So we'll do that soon. And I would like to wish you happy reading, great adventures, keep flying dragons, and we'll catch up again soon. Bye, and thanks for coming today. It's been lovely to host you.